You're worried about losing your job, and you're worried about podcasts taking over, and who's the source of news. And we said Donald Trump was Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us, and he won. And this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons.
Picture this: Joe Rogan, just vibing in his primal zone, maybe mid-elk smoothie or halfway through a kettlebell swing, when The View takes one snarky swipe too many. Fast forward to today. Rogan's firing back with a $100 million defamation lawsuit so massive it might as well come with cage fight commentary. Whoopi's probably replaying every hot take in her head like a bad dream. Sonny's contour is sweating under the studio lights, and Joy? Joy looks like someone unplugged her mid-sentence. Is this a courtroom drama or the wildest crossover episode since reality TV and politics had that messy public fling? Now hit rewind. Imagine Rogan mid-ayahuasca journey in the jungle, unlocking cosmic truths, when he stops, narrows his eyes, and says just one word: enough. After years of being the internet's MMA oracle and The View's favorite punching bag, Joe finally dropped the mic the way only he can, by turning the talk into a legal takedown half the country's been secretly waiting for.
Why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
we're checked by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
Hey, this is the most important part. This is right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons.
This circus has spun long enough. Joe Rogan, accused of everything short of launching the apocalypse, has finally had it with being the favorite chew toy of a panel of self-anointed media royalty who confuse gossip for gospel. Now, the man who treats controversy like cardio is heading to court, gloves off, filter gone. Enter The View, aka the Daily Brunch Club, where 5 media personalities sip ego-infused lattes and pretend that skimming headlines makes them constitutional scholars. It's less a talk show and more a loud, logic-free zone that makes a Real Housewives reunion look like a TED Talk. 5 hosts, 1 table, 0 receipts, and enough smugness to short-circuit a Tesla. In their infinite wisdom, or impressive ignorance, they decided Joe Rogan was the perfect punching bag, hurling accusations like it was open mic night at Defamation Depot. And the wild part? Joe hadn't tweeted, texted, appeared, or even side-eyed them. Didn't engage. Didn't respond. Just minding his elk-eating business. But suddenly, he's the roast of the week on their smear platter. Joy Behar rolled her eyes with the force of a tectonic shift, while Whoopi delivered one of her sanctimonious monologues like she hasn't rewritten her own backstory mid-episode before. So what did Rogan do? Exactly what most people dream of doing when the televised noise machine won't shut up. He lawyered up.
Is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. And they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her. And, they did that with Meghan McCain, and they did that with what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's a bizarre show.
Joe Rogan has filed a $100 million defamation lawsuit against The View, accusing the daytime talk show of making reckless, damaging statements that crossed the line from opinion to slander, threatening his reputation, contracts, and multi-million-dollar Spotify deal. Known for his thick skin and controversial takes, Rogan largely ignored previous jabs, but after The View panel, dubbed by critics as a daily brunch club of media personalities louder than they are accurate, accused him of being a danger to society without evidence, he responded not with words but with legal action. The lawsuit argues that while people are free to dislike him, labeling him a societal threat on national television isn't protected opinion but business-endangering falsehood, especially when presented under the guise of informed commentary. Despite not appearing on the show or engaging publicly, Rogan found himself the center of accusations aired casually by hosts like Joy Behar and Whoopi Goldberg, whose dismissive on-air remarks triggered this high-stakes legal move. The case highlights the blurred lines between entertainment and journalism and delivers a warning: daytime airtime doesn't grant immunity from the consequences of defamatory claims. Rogan listened, and now he's firing back in the only language courts respect: lawsuits and receipts.
Joe Rogan here. Did you see Joe Rogan who believes in dragons, I guess, according to Joy Behar, he changed his X profile. Did you see this?
That. I did see that.
It now just simply says dragon believer. He had talked about dragons on the show. It's, you know, the thing of it is, you take anything out of context and you can make fun of it and mock it. And so, you know, let's do that. It goes without saying. Joe Rogan, how many times more intelligent do you think Joe Rogan is than Joy Behar?
Reality just kicked the door in, because Joe Rogan isn't just some guy with a mic. He's a media powerhouse backed by a $200 million empire and a black belt in calling out nonsense, and now he's officially done playing nice. His $100 million lawsuit against The View isn't a PR stunt or a bid for headlines. It's a full-scale legal assault led by a team that came armed not with polite warnings but with receipts, video clips, transcripts, and side-by-side breakdowns that make the show's commentary look less like opinion and more like narrative fiction on fire. At the heart of the suit is a simple but brutal fact. You don't go on national TV and accuse someone with one of the largest platforms in the world of deliberately spreading misinformation without cold, hard proof, and The View brought none. Instead, they served up a brunch buffet of speculation, exaggeration, and hot takes with the structural integrity of a Jenga tower in a hurricane. This isn't about Rogan nursing bruised feelings, it's about brand protection. When public accusations risk turning controversy into liability, especially for a juggernaut like Spotify, the stakes are business critical. Rogan's legal team is framing the host's remarks as reckless, baseless, and damaging enough to constitute brand arson, and now they're demanding accountability, showing the media world that volume isn't a substitute for verifiable truth.
People want us divided, and they aren't just here in this country. They're foreign adversaries who are infiltrating our social media because it is prudent for us to stay that way. So when you see something that really pisses you off, you should triple check that one.
Yeah, really, really bad information that's going out there.
Well, in defense, there are some really good news.
It's possible that Donald Trump did roam the earth when dinosaurs were here.
There are some really good news kind of influencer types, and I think it's great that they're getting information about global and current events in front of younger people who maybe don't tune into traditional media. But to Sarah's point, there has to be some fact-checking and actually verification.
And how did the hosts respond? With the kind of over-the-top confusion you'd expect from a soap opera audition, Joy Behar looked like someone just announced Wine Club was cancelled forever. Sunny Hostin dove headfirst into legal jargon like she crammed a law textbook over brunch, and Whoopi, ever the high priestess of contradictions, served up the tired classic, well, it's just our opinion, like that's some kind of legal invisibility cloak. But here's the reality check. Once your opinion is broadcast to millions, it stops being harmless chatter and becomes public influence with real-world consequences. And if you can't back it up with facts, that's not free speech, it's a legal time bomb. Rogan didn't walk in wounded, he walked in with evidence, receipts, and a mission to hold the narrative accountable. This wasn't thoughtful critique, it was, label him dangerous, grab the applause, and pretend lawsuits are for other people energy. And then came the twist. Rogan fired back the only way he knows how, straight through the mic on the most watched, most listened to podcast on the planet. That's like trying to throw shade at the sun and getting vaporized mid-sentence. His response hit every gym, truck cab, and Reddit thread like a truth bomb, and Joe didn't just reply, he dismantled. Claim by claim, take by take, he broke it all down with surgical precision and that unmistakable Rogan smirk. The one that basically says, I bench press more truth in a single podcast than you manage in a whole season.
See what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is. Well, you know what Joe Biden could do? Joe Biden, you have to see it because it's so
on TV.
crazy.
She said this
on television.
You know, just let's look at a scenario where the Supreme Court says, yes, he has that. He has all those rights. He is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail.
And the fans? They erupted. Reddit lit up with threads longer than court transcripts, each one unpacking the drama with the intensity of a digital watchdog convention on espresso. YouTube comment sections transformed into amateur think tanks, dropping more sources than some actual newsrooms, while Twitter turned into a full-blown gladiator arena. Team Rogan came out swinging with memes sharper than subpoenas, while The View's defenders scrambled to contain a backlash they clearly never anticipated. But this isn't just Joe Rogan versus daytime drama, it's a reality check for media accountability. For years, shows like The View have danced on the edge of factual accuracy, slinging accusations under the cozy banner of light entertainment. They mock, they moralize, they play judge and jury, right up until someone fights back. Then suddenly, we're just chatting over coffee, don't take it so seriously. But let's be honest, when you smear someone's reputation in front of millions, you don't get to hide behind teacups and laugh tracks. That tired, we're just talk show hosts, defense crumbles faster than a reality TV marriage under stress. This $100 million lawsuit? It's not just payback, it's a flare across the sky, signaling that the era of consequence-free commentary might finally be ending. The days of tossing half-baked narratives and expecting silence in return are numbered, because when your target has more reach than most networks combined, that silence you counted on might answer back louder than you ever imagined.
And I agree that Joe Rogan is a horror.
I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Rogan should be removed from Spotify. He's got 11 million listeners. He's got $100 million, contract as of 2020. But I do think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on his podcast that says, this is misinformation?
Let's not forget, The View has a history of hot takes so wildly off-target they might as well be broadcast from the moon. This is the same show that once seriously entertained a flat Earth debate, where brunch banter often slides into accidental historical rewrites like it's just another mimosa-fueled side dish. And now they're shocked, stunned, that someone finally decided to clap back with both fury and receipts. Meanwhile, Rogan's over on his podcast sipping mushroom tea, casually dismantling their claims with the calm precision of a black belt correcting white belts. No shouting, no sweat, just surgical takedowns wrapped in that signature smirk that says he's already 10 moves ahead. Just when The View thought they were coasting on another wave of applause-fueled righteousness, boom, a $100 million legal tsunami hit and wiped the beach clean. They thought they were scoring virtue points. Instead, they looked up mid-episode and realized they were in a legal cage match with a guy who literally trains for cage matches. This isn't some petty media tiff, it's the main event, and the crowd's not clapping, they're buckling in and reaching for popcorn.
The fans, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house. Like, they're probably immobile.
Right. Because their mom's taking their kids to school and that's, yeah.
It's a very strange show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
There's something almost poetic in the irony. The same panel that spends their mornings demanding accountability from every public figure with a pulse suddenly hiding behind the paper-thin excuse of, we were just talking. Oh really? Like they've never heard the phrase, defamation lawsuit, before? Surprise, it's not only real, it just landed on Joe Rogan's playlist. Then, boom, silence. That thick, eerie kind that vacuums the air out of a room when reality hits like a freight train. The moment word broke that Rogan had launched a $100 million legal missile straight at The View's Manhattan studio, the mood shifted. Joy Behar went quiet, like someone yanked her mic and did a hard reset. No snark, no smug, just stunned. ABC did what all corporate giants do when a legal grenade goes off in their lap. They called in the suits. And not just any suits, Disney's legal cavalry hit full red alert, diving into emergency strategy meetings likely asking the same question half the internet was, did we really just say something that might cost us the GDP of a small country? Then came the predictable corporate statement, polished, vague, and completely hollow. We are aware of the matter and are currently reviewing our legal options. Translation, please don't let this go to trial. Because the real drama isn't in what aired, it's in the firestorm they never saw coming. What started as casual daytime banter just morphed into primetime consequences.
It is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies infested hen house.
and at the same time, it seemed like the most interesting part was their audience seemed to be on my side.
Yes.
And that's their audience.
Yes. Well, their audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows.
Behind ABC's studio doors, it was anything but calm, a swirling storm of Real Housewives-level drama colliding with a corporate compliance scramble spiraling out of control. Whispers flew faster than Whoopi could mutter, allegedly, into her mic. Was a retraction coming, an apology, maybe even a dramatic, overproduced sit-down where someone clutches a live laugh love mug and dabs at invisible tears in a bid for public redemption? Nothing official yet, but insiders claimed executives were floating the idea of an on-air clarification, which is network speak for, we're not admitting guilt, but please don't sue us into oblivion. Meanwhile, the internet transformed into a digital gladiator arena, with Rogan's fans turning Reddit into a coliseum of chaos, launching thread titles like Joe Rogan vs. The View, Let the Bodies Hit the Floor. Memes flew like shurikens, Twitter became a battlefield, and while Team Rogan dropped receipts and razor-sharp one-liners, The View's defenders frantically Googled, "Can I get sued for having an opinion?" The irony? Both sides suddenly waving the free speech flag, just from opposite ends of the cultural arena. One camp cried censorship, the other screamed defamation, and right there lies the core of the chaos. This isn't just a brawl between a jacked podcasting powerhouse and a panel of daytime divas, it's a full-blown cultural clash, a legal line in the sand that's about to redefine where influence ends and accountability begins.
I had to read the thing about The View because I just thought it was funny.
What's
That's
the
the only reason why I read that about me.
Dragon lover.
The radio, Joy Behar was trying to say that I believe in dragons.
Wait, what is this? I just heard about it.
I checked it.
And the lady goes, "Did you double check this?" She goes, "I checked it. He believes in dragons."
Should be like,
you think they lived
Sasquatch,
alongside of
bitch.
people.
This isn't just a courtroom drama. It's a spotlight on how tricky the line is between free speech and saying whatever you want without thinking. These days, TV hosts and influencers sometimes have more power than politicians, and when big talk shows throw around serious accusations like they're just chatting over coffee, it makes you wonder, where's the line, and who decides what's okay? Just because it's wrapped in jokes, claps, and ad breaks doesn't mean it's harmless. Joe Rogan's lawsuit, whether you think he's a straight-talking truth seeker or just a buff guy with a mic, is making people seriously ask, can a talk show call someone dangerous without any proof and get away with it? Because if he even partly wins, it could shake things up big time. YouTubers, TikTokers, and loud voices on Twitter might start thinking twice before dropping those bold opinions. Suddenly, videos come with, allegedly, and, please don't sue me, in the captions. The rules of the game might be changing, and anyone with a microphone better be paying attention.
Going. I think that's a happy medium.
Why doesn't The View have any trans women on it?
Great point. It has a lot of women that look trans, but none of them. It has a lot of second and third takes. After a drink, you'd go, huh? But it doesn't have a ton of, yeah.
Why doesn't The View have any trans women on the panel? It's a fair question, and one that strangely keeps getting ignored. Sure, the show has a mix of personalities that might raise eyebrows or spark a few, wait, what, moments after a drink or two, but when it comes to real trans representation, it's just silence. But let's go deeper, this isn't just about casting, it's about consequences. Joe Rogan's situation isn't only about legal drama, it's a cultural moment. He's not crying on TikTok or begging for sympathy, he's coming back with Spotify money, court filings, and podcasts that torch reputations in high definition. His message is simple, come at him with lies, and don't expect mercy, expect a lawsuit and maybe a 3-hour takedown with timestamps. So now, when someone on The View thinks about saying, you know what Joe Rogan said? They might just take a sip of coffee and keep quiet. Because yes, Free speech is still a thing, but so are lawsuits, legal bills, and lawyers who move faster than your Wi-Fi. And the audience? They're watching all this like it's the finale of Scandal, talk show edition.